life to figuring out exactly how to overcome certain issues very, very quickly. And like I said, it took me probably more than 20 years to come up with all the information that I'm going to share in these next 7 days, because I just knew there was a better way. I tried all the diets, I tried all the visualizations and affirmations and all the and all of that stuff. And what I teach is very, very alternative. However, nothing worked for me. And it wasn't until I sort of had, I was in a fight with a chocolate bar basically. And I went into this hypnotic state and I heard this message and I heard a series of instructions and I followed the instructions, and step by step, I was able to push the chocolate bar away and not feel deprived afterwards. And that was the first time that I'd ever been able to not struggle with food and not feel deprived. And so my intention for this 7-day challenge is to give you my wisdom, is to show you that it is not your fault. It is to show you that you've been working on the wrong things, that typical diet and weight loss strategies will probably not work for you, and they will not, or if they do work, they will not be permanent. Okay. So we're going to do a deep dive into your brain. We're going to do a deep dive into your psychology. And I'm going to explain to you exactly why your brain, your subconscious brain, is telling you it's not safe to lose weight. It's not safe to be thin. And that is why you can't lose weight. That is why you can't keep it off. That is why you won't stick to a diet. And that is my mission. That is my mission here on earth. And what's so cool about it is that once you understand and once you go through the healing processes that you're going to learn throughout this challenge and beyond, if you choose to go further, your entire life changes. Your entire life changes. People will report that their financial status gets better. They'll have better relationships with their husbands. They'll go after their dreams and they've been holding themselves back. Actually, you know what? Rather than me talking into this, is there anybody here? I know I invited some of my students. Is there anybody here that would be willing to share? Okay, so here's the cool thing. We have so many people that are brand new to tapping on this. And if you're a tapper, I want you to know that I am not your average tapper. I am not going to teach you any kind of normal tapping whatsoever. You are going to learn the Watkins method of tapping, because regular tapping for me never worked. If you don't know what tapping is, if you're here from like the diet and weight loss, if you've never heard of tapping, you're like, what's a tapathon? What is this tapping thing? What is it all about? Just hang in there, because you're going to have some experiences that will blow your mind. Blow your mind. Okay, you're going to have actual experiences with food. We're going to change your brain chemistry. You're going to experience them live. Okay, so I have lots of great things for everybody. So if there is anybody here that has gone through some of my programs and knows the information that I'm going to teach over the next 7 days, and how, if you could share how it's affected you and what it's done for you, I would love for you to share. Okay. Oh, hi, Barb. Hi, Tina. Hi, Camilla. Hi, Diane. Thanks for being here. Tracy. Okay. Let's see. Tina, I'm going to take you first, because I just think it's better. I think it's better for Tina, go ahead and mute yourself. I just think it's better if they hear from you. I don't need to talk them into it. Tina, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, what should I say? Brittany really changed my life. I've been a stress eater ever since I can remember. I remember my mom being on a diet when I was like 3 years old, and I gained weight and got fat at like age 10 or something. And then about 4 years ago, I had an emotional trauma and my emotional eating was just going through the roof. And I had tried regular tapping before and it didn't really work. It was part, the scripts weren't made for my problem, and I wouldn't even know what exactly my problem was, what emotion I needed to tap on, what events I needed to tap on, and I just didn't do anything. And then I came to one of Brittany's webinars and I just had the feeling that she was talking about me. And I first started with a 6-week program, and I must admit I sabotaged myself out of it in week 2. It took a little while until I kind of had to admit to myself that I can't do it without help. And that's when I signed up for the advanced program, where you also get one-on-one coaching. And yeah, that really changed my life. So basically all I wanted was to not get flashbacks from my trauma and not gain any more weight. That would have been enough to make me happy and make it well worth it. Well, the flashbacks stopped after the first session with Greta, with my wonderful coach. And I did a bunch of tapping on my own also. And I pretty much had all the other weight loss blockers too. But overall, I lost 3 breast sizes. So I was 6 inches off my waist. Wow. And for a year and a half now, I've kept this off despite COVID, despite lockdown. I did this without exercising because we were in lockdown. I couldn't get to the gym. And it's just such a great experience.
Wow. Thank you, Tina, for sharing that. I didn't realize you lost all the weight during lockdown. That's crazy.
Yes, I did.
You had the opposite experience with everybody else.
You can't see me, but I brought my bag of chips that I bought in February 2020. It's still half full. It's sitting in my pantry, and I haven't touched it ever since. There was no dieting involved, so I eat whatever I want, whenever I want, but I just don't want the junk food anymore. And it's so fantastic. If I want a piece of chocolate, I can just have a little piece and enjoy it, and don't inhale the whole bar and just beat myself up afterwards. So yeah I just wanted to say thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
My mind was so blown away with the results. I decided to get certified, and maybe I'm a little biased, but I'm happy that I'm now also working for Brittany as a coach.
Yeah, we have lots of opportunities here, Brittany Watkins. Thank you, Tina, for sharing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to take a couple more. Tracy, I see you're here. Let me see it. Hold on. It says allow you to talk. I'm going to see if you can, hold on. Wait, Tracy, no, hold on. Sorry. There you go. Tracy, you there?
I'm here.
Hi.
This is so cool.
Would you just mind sharing a little bit about your experience and just what you've, I know you had a lot of different experiences and different things, and I just started talking about them, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let my students just say this for me, because it's better when people can hear it from somebody other than me.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, so there was a lot of wins that I got from the program, and some of them were really surprising. Like, I improved my relationships, like with my husband specifically. I got better sleep. This has been something that I've been thinking of for years that never happened before, but my eyesight actually improved, like, significantly. And my contact lens prescription, I have less allergy symptoms.
What about your eating, Tracy? Tell me what your relationship with food was like before this, and then what it's like now.
Yeah, so before this, like, I would be binging and I couldn't stop. Like, my husband would go to sleep and I would stay up late at night and I would just be binging by myself. Like, and it would be like eating so much that like I was sweating and I couldn't stop. And I knew I wanted to stop, but I just couldn't stop.
Oh God.
So I don't binge eat anymore. I don't do that. And
how long did it take you? Once you learned the techniques that I teach, how long did it take you to go from that to not binging anymore?
So I was in about 4 months and things had really switched up and I had magically lost some weight and it sort of freaked me out. So then I kind of backed a little while, but yeah, so I would say that probably about 6 months, things really started to change for me. And I was like, wow, I haven't binged in like 2 weeks, so it's definitely a process, but.
And when it was a lifelong thing. And so, and this is the thing, the results, I mean, I've been teaching this for 10 years and going back from 10 years ago, students, we keep checking in with students and the results, the changes that they made even 10 years ago are still in place today. So these aren't like, this isn't something that you have to keep doing and stay on top of. It's like you go through the 3 or 4 month deep dive and you work really hard, which, my techniques aren't easy, but they get right to the core, they get right to the issue. But you do that for a couple of months and then it's gone permanently. You don't have to keep going back and doing it over and over again, so.
Yeah, that was what I was hoping for because I've been through the diet thing many, many, many times. And the last time that I was in Weight Watchers to lose weight, I was down about 8 pounds, but I was in a plateau for about 3 weeks and I knew I wasn't gonna be able to keep the weight off. And it's that same feeling of like a cat just hanging by its claws in the ceiling, trying to hang on to the claws. And so I just kind of talked to the universe and was like praying and saying, how can I keep the weight off this time? And I just sort of have a relationship with angels. And I feel like when I make a plea like that, I kind of look for the answers to come up. And years and years ago, you were doing a program called Skinny Jeans. And I had tuned into that, but I'd fallen off of that, whatever email list. And I don't remember looking for you this time. But then suddenly I got a few emails and I was like, well, okay, I put it out to the universe and the answer came back to me. So that's when I signed up for this program.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks, Tracy, for saying that. This is this work definitely has angels, and yeah, I'm happy that they were able to find you and you're able to find me through them. Okay. All right, I'm back to the screen. Yeah, if the other students, if you guys just want to chime in the chat and just let people know your experience with working with these techniques, I think what I want to do is I just want to give people a little motivation for tuning into every day because we have worked really hard on this. And this is my life's work. This is my life's work. I've spent my life working on the information that I'm going to share with you and it will change your life. No doubt about it. It will change your life. And I read some submissions from people who wrote in who just said, Brittany, I know what to eat. I know how to diet. I know how to lose weight. I just can't figure out why I don't do it. Why do I keep sabotaging myself? And so that's what I really want to get into today is the weight loss blockers. Okay, so that's day 1. And I'm gonna walk you through what everything is day by day in a minute. And but today you're gonna learn about the subconscious weight loss blockers and what the good reasons are that your brain has to hold on to extra weight. Okay. All right, I'm gonna share my screen here. Hold on. Share screen. There we go. Okay. Welcome to the 7-Day Tabata Challenge. Okay, so you're in the right place if you are constantly thinking about your weight. If you are done with the diets, you have tried everything, paleo, keto, Whole30, Weight Watchers pills, you've probably tried intermittent fasting, you've probably tried, green juice, you've probably tried water fasting, you've probably tried all of the things and nothing has worked and nothing has stuck. You're tired of putting your dreams on hold while you wait for the weight to come off. This is something that I see that's so common with women and it just breaks my heart because your brain is so focused on how can I lose weight? How can I lose weight? How can I lose weight? What am I doing to lose weight? What's my new diet? When can I eat? You're so obsessed with food that you can't actually fulfill your dreams. You can't think about your dreams because you're so obsessed with your weight and with your body. And one of the things that we notice with the students that go through my programs is that the weight falls off naturally. And all of a sudden they start going after the things that they actually want for themselves. They start asking for that raise. They write that book. They take that vacation. So many things that they've been putting on hold. So that is really what gets me out of bed in the morning. That is really what makes me so passionate about delivering this information. You're also in the right place if you're just fed up with being good. And you've got that kind of feeling of like, okay, I've been good today. And then all of a sudden late at night, you'll find yourself in the kitchen eating everything in the cupboards or binging like Tracy did until she's totally sweating. Or you're confused because you feel like you know what to eat and you just can't figure out why you don't do it. So we're gonna talk about all of that over the next 7 days. Okay, so who am I? If you don't know who I am, I'm gonna go through this really quickly. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I am a psychology junkie. I'm an emotional eating and EFT tapping expert. I'm known worldwide for that. I've helped more than 100,000 women through my programs. I'm the founder of the Watkins Method Tapping for Weight Loss. I've trained and certified more than 400 PhDs, therapists, coaches, healers, and basically people that get really passionate about this work. I have worked with some of the top athletes, some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world. I've even worked with actresses in Hollywood who I cannot name, but I wish I could. I've been featured in Shape, Fitness, and Psychology Today. I'll tell you more about my story as we go through this journey. Okay, but this is what I want to do. I'm gonna share with you what we're going to talk about in the 7-Day Tabata Challenge. Okay, so today on day 1, we're gonna talk about the subconscious weight loss blockers. I'm gonna explain to you why you have never been able to lose weight, why your brain keeps sabotaging you, and I'm going to give you examples of experiences that will have caused this in your past. Okay. So you might want to have a pen and a piece of paper handy. The thing about this is that if you don't know that these blocks exist and if you don't understand how important they are, this is the reason you're struggling with weight. It's the weight loss blockers. It's kind of like when you're trying to, it's kind of like driving a car with the parking brake on, like the weight loss blockers are the parking brake, right? And you going on, whatever diet or whatever exercise program or whatever new, plan you're on, that's you kind of driving the car. But the whole time you have this parking brake on, you're like, why can't I move forward? Why is there so much smoke and steam? Why is it so hard? So today we're going to do a really big deep dive into that. Oops, how do I go? Okay, tomorrow we are going to talk about how to supercharge your willpower. You're going to figure out how certain positive memories from your childhood correlate with certain foods that you can't say no to now, and how your brain actually has been wired to eat these foods, but for a good reason. And it's super, super easy to rewire that in your brain, and we're actually going to do that. You're going to find out why you felt so out of control around food, and you're going to find out. So this is the thing: we're not going to take your favorite foods away from you. Just like Tina said when she was talking, we're going to make it so that you can eat it and enjoy the food without feeling like you have to eat all of it. So you can have just a couple squares of chocolate rather than having the whole bar, or just a couple cookies or one cookie rather than having the whole box of cookies. That kind of thing. On day 3, you are going to learn my brand new tapping technique that will completely rewire your brain around food cravings. This is not traditional tapping. This is my own unique method. It works 10 times faster than traditional tapping. And again, you will not have to use willpower. You'll be able to enjoy a few scoops or a few bites of ice cream. You will I heard somebody else say that they had, I think it was Tina, she said, I've had chips in my house and I've had them here for a few months and I totally forgot about them. Those are the things that we hear when people go through this process that you guys are going to learn on day 3 is that they'll have foods that normally, you know that feeling of like food's calling to you from the kitchen, like you've got chocolate in there and it's just like calling to you and you can't stop thinking about it until you eat it. And so then you eat it so that it's gone and it's out of the house. Well, this technique will make sure that never happens again. Day 4 is all about emotional eating. We are going to learn about, you're going to learn my cutting edge echo tapping technique that I kind of talked about earlier. It is one of my most powerful methods. It is something that I feel is my duty to share with people. I had a girl who wrote me one time and she said, Brittany, I have been in and out of recovery, weight recovery programs, and I was on the verge of killing myself. And my husband was going to send me back to the institution or something like that. And she said she found one of my ads on Facebook, and she said she begged her husband to give her one last shot. And in the video that I was sharing at that time, it was this technique, and this technique healed her. She not only overcame her binge and emotional eating, but she lost weight. Her relationship with her husband dramatically improved. Her life, she got out of this deep, deep depression. That was probably one of the most amazing transformations I've ever. I mean, there's so many things that people say and feel right, but that one in particular just really hit me because she said she was on the verge of killing herself. Like she was so unhappy and she was in so much pain that she was ready to end it all. And I'm sure many of you have felt that way. Day 5, we're going to talk about self-sabotage, and we're going to talk about, this is not going to be any, you will have never heard of this information before. What I discovered, this probably took me the longest to discover because I personally struggled with this myself the longest. This was the hardest thing for me to do, was to stop self-sabotage. And it wasn't until I found out how the connection with my authority figure, who was my mother, the person who gave me the rules, was actually affecting my ability to give myself a rule and stick to it. And so on this day, we're going to talk about that, and you're going to figure out and you're going to uncover why you have been sabotaging yourself and then how to fix it. Day 6 is going to be really fun. This is when I get to interact with you. Actually, on a few of the days, I'm going to be interacting with you. I'm going to be taking live people. Think about it right now. If you want to talk to me, if you want to get some one-on-one time with me. But day 6, we're going to do live hot seat interventions. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of my coaches, and the 3 of us will take your questions. And one of the things that I found that I am just great at is I'm great at hearing somebody's story and figuring out exactly what to do to fix them the fastest, and not fix them, but fix this problem in particular. And so that's what we'll be doing. So if you want like a customized protocol for yourself, which by the way, if you're not the type of person to like raise your hand and to ask a question, usually everybody has the same set of about 5 or 6 problems. And so whatever customized protocol I give to someone else, that will probably work for you. And you'll know as I'm talking about it, you'll say, oh yeah, that's me too. Oh yeah, I struggle with the same things. Okay. So somebody else will definitely magically ask the same question that you had in your head, but this will be a really, really cool day. And then day 7, we're going to talk about the most powerful weight loss blocker. And this, I need a full class to teach this because this is one that most women have. And this is the one that if you don't overcome, you'll just never overcome your weight. And I have worked, this was the very first thing that when I uncovered this part, this was the start of my journey to release weight. So this module and this class is imperative that you come to. All of them are imperative that you come to. They're going to be building on each other day by day. We're going to talk about all the different weight loss blockers on every single day. And so it's just really, really imperative that you come to all of these, to carve out this time for yourself, to make this commitment to yourself, to show up, to be here. Because it's really changed life. Okay. What's next? What do I have next? Okay, so let's get into the topics today. So what are weight loss blockers? What are these weight loss blockers? Okay, so you have probably seen this image before. A lot of people use this when they're talking about the conscious and the unconscious mind. So the conscious mind is this part of the iceberg that you can see above the water. And the unconscious mind is this part of the iceberg that's completely submerged under the water. So the conscious mind is the part of you that makes decisions. Okay. It's the part of you that says, I really need to lose weight, or, oh God, I didn't fit into my jeans, so I better stop eating sugar, or, I'm going to hire a personal trainer, or I'm going to start exercising more, right? So those decisions come from your conscious mind. Okay. Now, what most people don't know is that the conscious mind only has 20% of the vote on your behavior. It only has 20% of the decision making factor on everything that you do, where the unconscious mind actually has 80% of the vote. Okay. So the unconscious mind is the, well, it's basically was formed between the age of 0 and 8 years old. Okay. So this is the part of us that we can't really control. It's a part of us that, it's like, have you ever had an experience where you reacted in some way where you're like, God, that was not me. I don't ever react like that. Or, kind of like you're eating where you're like, I don't know why I'm eating. I know this isn't good for me, but I just can't stop it. So these types of behaviors, or, compulsive shopping, or over drinking, or smoking, or lots of unhealthy behaviors, they come from your unconscious mind. So while your conscious mind, that's 20% of you, is telling you, okay, we're going to lose weight. We're going to go to this diet. We're going to stick to this. We're going to exercise. We're going to do the gym every day. Your unconscious mind is saying, sister, no way. And it's actually sabotaging your success. So the unconscious mind is actually what you need to really dive into in order to have success with your body. Okay. And this isn't like a lose 10 pounds in 6 days type of approach. This is a deep dive into your unconscious mind. And the thing about the unconscious mind is that the unconscious mind was formed through experiences. Okay. So through experiences, excuse me, I'm gonna take some more. The unconscious mind was formed through experiences. So experiences that were good and bad. So typically when you are struggling with your weight, the experiences that you had from 0 to 8 years old were pretty traumatic. Okay. And we're going to talk about how these traumas create this unconscious programming that's going on in your brain on autopilot. Okay. So it just means that it's running there in the background. It's kind of like a computer software or like a virus that you don't know about that's running on your computer. Or, if you've, this is an analogy my partner Jim uses a lot. If you remember when you first started driving, how it was like so hard to think about all the different things that you had to do and like keep your hands in place and look at all the mirrors and backing up and all that. And then now when you drive somewhere, it's just really easy for you to drive somewhere. Like you'll get somewhere and you won't even remember how you got there. So that's how the unconscious mind works. This is programming that's running on autopilot. That's giving you information. It's telling you what to do all the time. It's telling you how to behave. It's telling you who to avoid. It's telling you what to do. Like you are not aware of it. And the most interesting thing is that the memories and the traumas that you experience from your childhood, you only remember about 10% of them. So that's why talk therapy is good, because you'll go there and you'll talk about some of the things that used to happen to you, but it doesn't fix the problem. Usually doesn't fix the problem fast enough. And I love talk therapy. I was in talk therapy for 20 years. I will never knock it. But for me, it didn't help me with my weight. It helped me uncover why I was struggling with my weight, but it didn't solve the problem. Okay. So that's why in my work, what we do is we focus on healing traumas and memories from childhood, because those are the things that create the weight loss blockers. And those are the things that cause you to hold on to the extra weight and tell your brain that it's not safe to release weight. So I'm going to give you some examples of how this works. Okay. So traumas can be big or small. Okay. So when I say the word trauma, that's a really heavy word, right? And a lot of people think of like a really, really big scary thing, and it can be. Most people have experienced very scary traumas, but at least in my work, the way we describe trauma is anything that didn't make you feel safe or that made you feel unsafe. Okay. So a trauma is when you felt unsafe. And, this could be anything from, having an alcoholic or an abusive parent to, Lisa not sitting next to you at the table during lunchtime. Okay. Like there's a wide range of things that can affect you. And what I hear, what's most frustrating for me is that, women beat themselves up thinking that they have a problem, that they can't stick to a diet, when they don't understand that there's tiny things like Lisa not sitting next to you at the lunch table during school when you were 8 years old. That could be the thing that's making you carry the extra weight. So I'm gonna get into some examples of how these things may have played out in your life, and just make some notes or make some mental notes. You don't have to write anything down, but you'll kind of resonate with which ones, which things you've experienced. Okay. So maybe your dad wasn't around a lot. Okay. So when you were a kid, you felt abandoned. And the key word here is you felt abandoned. So maybe your dad just had to work a lot. Maybe he was just trying to feed the family, but he wasn't around. And so you felt abandoned. Well, what happens is your brain installs, let's just call it the abandonment program. Okay. And the abandonment program kicks in anytime maybe it's late at night and everyone's gone to bed. Or, I don't know, your husband goes on vacation, or your boyfriend doesn't call you back, or you get stood up from a date, or, something happens that makes you feel abandoned. Your brain will go, woo, 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 woo. This is the same thing. This is just like what happened last time. Okay. So let's use the example of, everybody's going to bed and you're all alone. It's late at night. You're still up, but everybody's asleep. That abandonment program kicks in. And all of a sudden, that's when you find yourself in the kitchen, totally overeating. Okay. You're overeating to try to make yourself feel safe. You're overeating to try to calm down that experience and that abandonment program in your head. Because the thing is, food actually does work to calm down stress and anxiety. And that's what these experiences, when they get triggered, they trigger the amygdala. And tomorrow I'm going to talk more about the brain science and how these things affect your brain and what's actually going on in your brain. But what happens is it affects your brain and it makes you feel stressed and it makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to eat something now. And I think probably everybody here has felt like this, like I need chocolate now, or I just, you'll just eat anything in the pantry, right? So let's call that the abandonment program. And that can kick in for any reason. All right. So they're always going to be specific to you, but think about some ways that the abandonment program might come up in your life if you have that one. There's another experience, a weight loss blocker called What Happened Last Time. And I have this experience. I have this client who had this story where she had lost 100 pounds. She was 100 pounds overweight, and I don't know, it took her like 2 years or something to get this weight off. And one of her friends was, well, let's not even decide what her friend was. Her friend said to her, ever since you lost this weight, you're just different. You're not like who you used to be. And you've changed. And she kind of like stopped hanging out with her a little bit. Okay. So this would install a program that says, if I change, people won't like me. So it's not safe to be my natural weight. Can you guys see how this would cause you to hold on to extra weight? So these things in the moment, they don't seem like they matter. They don't seem like they're important. They don't seem like they're affecting you, but it causes this program, this autopilot program, to kick in. And guess what? As soon as her friend said that, she went home and she started binge eating and she put all the 100 pounds back on. And then after that, she found me and she finally uncovered what the root cause and what the trauma was, which that doesn't really seem like a big trauma, right? But to her, it was. And so it could be something that someone said to you. It could be something somebody says about your body that makes you feel unsafe. It could be something that someone says, that violates your boundary and you didn't stand up for yourself, and you're like, gosh, I hate that person said that to me, but you didn't know what to say in the moment because you kind of froze, so these things, they seem like they don't matter in the moment, but it can cause you to put on extra weight. And one of the things that people who struggle with extra weight are really good at is using extra weight as a protective barrier. So there's some of us, and including me, I struggled with this for a long time. We think that if we have a little bit more padding on ourselves, that they won't be able to get to us. Usually we're much more empathetic. So we'll feel a lot more. We're a lot more sensitive than other people. And so it is true that if you have a little bit more kind of protection around you, it doesn't hurt quite as much, or we won't be able to feel those nasty things as much. But that's not really true. That's not really true. Your brain just thinks that that's true. Okay. So another autopilot program that I want to talk about, another weight loss blocker program that I want to give you an example of is, let's say that the Lisa doesn't sit next to you at lunch. Okay. So this could give you the social anxiety autopilot program, right? So maybe you avoid parties, or you avoid people that you don't know, or when you're uncomfortable, or you get uncomfortable when you're around new people or in new situations. Or maybe if you go to a party, if I don't know, somebody forces you to go to a party, or you have to go to an event or something, you'll, and there's food there, you'll find yourself like totally overeating and stuffing yourself. I don't know if anybody's had that experience. Type yes in the chat box if you've had that experience before, where you've been at this party and just can't stop eating, or you do your best to kind of get through the party, and then you go home and you totally binge and you don't know why. And then you wake up in the morning and you feel so stuffed and bloated and you feel nasty and terrible about yourself. Okay. So that could be the autopilot program, the social anxiety autopilot program. This is another one that's super, super common. Okay. So super common when, we're struggling with our weight, that we share it with our friends, right? We're girls and we talk to each other and we need to get advice. And so we talk about our latest diet, or the thing that we're doing, or the thing that's helping us, or, the thing that's changing our lives, or the things that we're struggling with. And so a lot of times women will have a friend circle where kind of all of their friends are kind of similarly struggling with their weight. Or this also plays out in families. So if this is kind of like a family thing where people in our family, we struggle with our weight, that's just who we are. What happens is it installs this autopilot program that if I lose weight, I'll lose my tribe. I'll lose my connection to these people that are so important Okay. So this is so, so important to understand because we are tribal humans. We are tribal humans. And when we believe that we're going to be kicked out of a tribe, actually in the days where we were hunters and gatherers, if they kicked you out of a tribe, you died. You died. We still have the same brain. And so it is life or death to your unconscious mind. Now your conscious mind can go, no, everybody would be happy for me. Everybody would be totally, encouraging me. And that might be true. But if your unconscious mind believes even just the slightest bit that you might lose your tribe if you change your body, there's no way you're going to be able to release weight. There's just no way, because that basically means death. Losing my tribe means death. That's the way our primal brains work. Okay. Not your conscious brain. Your conscious brain knows that's not true. Knows that that's not the world we're living in now, but your primal, your unconscious brain, that's the part of you that believes this stuff is true. Type yes in the chat box if this is resonating with you. Or tell me how this is resonating with you. Tell me which one of these is resonating with you. Okay. Another weight loss blocker can come from a specific bad experience. Okay. So there was a woman that was in one of my classes, and a few years ago, and I remember her telling me the story that, I don't know what program she'd been on. She'd just gone on a diet and she lost a bunch of weight. She felt really good about herself. And this is really common. I remember I used to do this all the time. So she lost a bunch of weight. She felt really good about herself. So she was going out to bars and she was drinking and she was having fun and she was flirting. I think she was like 40 or 45 at the time. And she lived in New York City, just having the time of her life, feeling super good about herself. She met this guy and she slept with him. She had one night stand. I think she got pregnant. And this guy, as soon as he found out that she was pregnant, he ditched her. And so while she still loves her child and she still feels blessed to have her child, what happens is her unconscious mind says, and so after that, I think her kid was like 5 or 6 years old by the time she came to me. She was Brittany, I've never been able to get back to my weight after that, because her unconscious mind installed a program. If I lose weight or if I look that good again, something bad will happen. Right? So can you see how your unconscious mind is actually trying to protect you from bad things happening? It just has the wrong information. Okay? It just has the wrong information. Oh, this is another one. The Clean Your Plate Autopilot Program. Clean Your Plate Autopilot Program. So how many of you had the type of parents that told you you could not leave the table until all your food was gone? If you got up from the table, all the food has to be gone. You need to eat all of your food. So this is called the Clean Your Plate program. And a lot of times our parents were really aggressive about it. And it made us like feel really bad, or made us eat foods that we didn't really like, like spinach and broccoli. And there's lots of things that kids don't want to eat, but they forced us to eat those foods. And so what happens is now as an adult, whenever you have food in front of you, if you don't clean your plate, if you throw any food away, you will unconsciously feel like ashamed or like you're going to get in trouble, but you're not aware of it. This isn't something that you're aware of. This isn't something that it's just every time you eat, you end up feeling totally stuffed and you clean your plate and you don't understand why you can't lose weight, why you can't eat less. It's because unconsciously your parents are yelling at you, telling you that if you throw food away, you're going to be in deep trouble. Okay. Let me know in the chat box if you've got that one. So another really very, very powerful weight loss blocker that is connected to self-sabotage is the parent-child dynamic, and it's the authority figure. And I touched on this, and we're going to deep dive into this when we go into the self-sabotage module. But what happens is when you have a parent who was, let's say, very authoritative and very much like a rule keeper, and you didn't like their rules or you rebelled against their rules, what happens is you install this autopilot program that says, you can't make me. You can't make me. And so if you're that type of person where, like, I don't know, if you're anything like me, is like if my boyfriend or my dad or my sister or somebody tells me to do something, I'm like, shut up, I'm not gonna do that. You can't make me. So this same thing is going on inside of you. So if you give yourself a rule, it's kind of like, it is like actually what's happening in your unconscious mind is your parent is giving you the rule, even if they're not here anymore. It's your parents' head. It's your parents inside of your head telling you, you have to do this thing. And so that's one of the reasons that you'll rebel so hard against it. Okay. That's the you can't make me autopilot program. Okay, the last one that I'm going to cover today is pre-verbal hunger. So a lot of times, when we're babies, we cry and we have needs that our parents don't know how to understand yet. We can't speak. We can't ask for things. We can't actually say what we need. And so there are people that have had the experiences of being hungry when they were babies, or maybe you couldn't get milk, or you couldn't feed properly, or something happened to you in your pre-verbal childhood that installs this program that says it's not safe to be hungry. And so for you, if you have this program, anytime you feel any sense of hunger whatsoever, you're going to eat something. Like being hungry is like causes you so much anxiety. So you probably have like a lot of snacks around, or you're like really snacky. Okay. And if you like, as soon as you're hungry, like we have to eat. So a lot of times people, again, you won't realize this is happening. This is just the autopilot programming kicking in that says, holy shit, something bad is going to happen. We don't get food, and we don't have food right now. We're hungry and we don't know when the next time is that we're going to have food. Okay. So those are the weight loss blockers, and I would love some feedback from you. I'm going to figure out how to stop sharing in a second. I would love to just hear some feedback from you and just tell me if this is resonating with you. Tell me what your aha moments are. That one was big for me. Snacky, hunger due to neglect, abuse, first 5 years until I fed myself. Yep, exactly. I'm a founding member of the You Can't Make Me Club. Yes, Sue, exactly. Good. I'm glad this is resonating with you. Kathy, I'm snacky. Stephanie said, what I'm realizing that since I've been doing this work for some months and I've heard these before, I'm getting at them at a deeper level and I'm realizing how powerful and not rational the subconscious mind is. So even though mom didn't make such a big deal about cleaning my plate, it still left a deep impression because I still clear my plate. Yeah. I know I won't be accepted in the tribe because I am fat, but I still can't lose weight. It's depressing. Thanks, Manjeet, for sharing that. Parent dynamic, you're not allowed to denial. Okay, so this is what we're going to do on day 6. So every single day, we're going to build on this process. Okay, I want to show you actually something really interesting. Okay, so remember, again, there's one final weight loss blocker, and this is pretty much everybody has this. And so we're going to be talking about this on the very last day. But over the course of the 7 days, we're going to be going deeper into all these different weight loss blockers, and you're going to be learning a lot more. So if you had some ahas today, give me an aha in the chat and just let me know that you had an aha, that you're liking this, and that you want more of this too, because I get energy and I get motivated from you guys. Tomorrow, you're going to learn how to supercharge your willpower. Oh, this is what I wanted to show you. This is what I wanted to show you. Hold on one second. So this is the difference between, hold on. Okay. So this black line here is like where you're at right now. Please excuse my amazing artistic skills. So this black line represents where you are right now. And when you start a new diet or a weight loss regimen, or you sign up for a new program, you kind of think this is going to happen, right? You kind of think you're going to shoot up to the top and you're going to make all these changes. You're going to make these dramatic results, right? And you think it's just going to keep going. But what really happens is you go up and you're really, really good for the first day, the first couple days, the first week, the first few weeks, the first months. But then what happens? You end up falling off, you end up sabotaging yourself. And then you go, and then, maybe you get really depressed and down on yourself. And then you somehow muster up the energy to get back on the wagon and you try it again. And then something else drags you back down and you sabotage yourself, right? So you kind of have this thing where you go up and down until you actually end up, look at the red line, you end up worse off than where you started. So if you think about your weight loss journey, you think about when you first started dieting, you first started struggling with your weight, you're probably worse off now, aren't you? So this is the difference. This is the difference. When you change the unconscious mind, it doesn't feel like radical change, right? It will feel like radical change because you'll notice changes in your eating behavior instantly. But what we focus on, because we focus on changing the unconscious mind, we're just focused on making baby steps. And so even though the techniques are very transformational, we're focused on the unconscious mind, and the unconscious mind will slowly move you to where you want to be. It'll slowly take you to this goal point of where you want to be. And you won't have these ups and downs. And I can't eat this, and I can't eat that. And I'm on sugar today, and I'm off sugar today. And oh crap, I totally blew my diet. And oh, I'm gonna eat chicken and broccoli tomorrow. And oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat chocolate chip cookies today. You're not gonna have that experience, okay? I don't tell you what to eat. I don't tell you how to exercise. I just help you understand your brain and how your brain is sabotaging your success, and helping you uncover those things and heal the unconscious brain, because it's super, super easy. Once you have the right information, all you have to do is just switch the information and tell your brain, that's not the case anymore. That's not the right information. This is, and it is safe for me to release weight. And so that's what will happen over the course of these 7 days for you, is that you'll understand all of these different steps that you have to take, and we'll be going through them together. So I hope you learned something amazing today. Please drop something in the chat box so I know. I always have great intentions for following diets, exercises, or whatever, and I stop since I cannot see the results that I want. Yeah, that will happen too. You'll stop too soon. Or, you might have the experience where you have success, but then as soon as you're successful, as soon as you release a little bit of weight, all of a sudden you start to sabotage and you start to overeat again. I don't know if anybody has it. Give me like an aha in the chat box if you have that. So yeah, this can show up in lots of different ways. And so you'll hear, I'm gonna give you lots of different examples. You're gonna hear yourself in all my stories. People basically do this in the same ways, but it'll be slightly different for everybody. But I'm going to share so many stories that you're going to go, oh yeah, that's me. That's the thing. So I really hope you join me on this journey. I'm going to try to make it less than an hour for each day, but just for the next 7 days, try to carve out an hour for yourself. This will be the most life-changing 7-day challenge you've ever been to in your whole life. I guarantee you that. I guarantee that. So use this time. The classes are live. You've got to show up live if you want to get the information. We're not doing any replays right now, as my team is telling me. So I really hope that you come and that you join me on this journey, because I am going to be giving my heart and soul away, and I'm going to be sharing this with you because this is the information that I wanted when I was struggling and when I was trying to figure out why I was struggling with my weight. And I wanted somebody like me to sit down and say, okay, this is what's going on. So this information took me 20 years of trial and error to uncover, and I'm going to give it to you in 7 days. So, let me save you 20 years of pain and struggle, and let me give it to you in 7 days. Okay. Thank you so much for those of you that have been here. I can't